welcome back to the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin. I'm not joined by Migs or Elena today, but I'm doing this episode solo. It's episode 316. If you're a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, that's 316. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Only wrestling fans got that one, Bo. But joining us today.
Two cold ones.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's not too late, Bo. It's not too late. But hey, joining us today, we have the mayor of Halloween. We have the owner of Pinpoint. We have a master of podcasting and content creation. Joining us is Bo Counts for our annual Halloween episode. Welcome, Bo.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like we have to do this every year.
Yeah, man. I like it. I love the tradition. Halloween's my favorite time of year, and I get to see a lot of my friends and a lot of my friends' alter egos and costumes, and I get to see you guys and record spooky stuff and tell spooky stories and... it's a good time. Yeah, let's do it. Let's shake on it. Let's make it official.
Right now,
it's done. Boom.
You missed it because this is not a video episode, but we just shook on it. Every year, it's good to just check in with Bo, see how he's doing, see how Pinpoint is doing, and just to kind of, have a spooky brother in the community is a pretty cool thing to have. So grateful for you, Bo. Grateful for the decorations. We're recording here live from Pinpoint, currently in the booth of Harry Potter.
Yeah, we're right across the street from Twilight and Conjuring, and we've got Camp Crystal Lake. So, we got all the themed booths every year. We change them up. A lot of people come down here and they go, oh my gosh, it's so different. Mm-hmm. And we're like, yeah, we know. It takes a lot of work. But we want to make sure that every time you come down or each time that you come down is a fun new experience, no matter where you're sitting. And we're one of the few Halloween pop-up bars in the country that does it. Now Halloween pop-up bars are becoming a thing. Mm-hmm. We were one of the first in the United States. We actually got written up in Food and Wine and Vine Pair last year. And, other places. I have my friends that do the Black Lagoon pop-ups that pop up in every other cities.
There's one that pops up on my social media, like paid advertisement for like Edgar Allan Poe pop-up.
Oh, the Edgar Allan Poe Speakeasy. Yeah, they actually came through here last year, and I met with them. They came through, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." We talked about if they ever came back through, maybe doing a collab. But they're great people, and what they do is a little bit different. It's a little bit of theater, okay. And so you're buying a ticket to the theater show, but that they have drinks there as well. Wow. So it's pretty cool. But it's really awesome to see. I've been doing Halloween events for way longer than I want to admit, more than 1 decade, almost 2 decades. Well, actually, okay, it's about 22 years. And I've been doing it since, basically I was in high school and coming out of this, doing these things, and they've only gotten bigger. And it's cool to see that other people have really embraced, spooky season being more than just a night. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I saw as just a truth that needed to be brought to the world. And now, September's when spooky season starts, and I love to see it. I don't feel like such a weirdo anymore.
So you have all these different themes. You have, like we just said, Harry Potter, or you have Twilight over here on the side. Are you a fan of all these like movies, or are there some where you're just kind of like, the people like it, so I might as well just put something on?
So yeah, it's a really good question. Obviously I'm not a huge fan of Twilight, but it's the 20th anniversary of Twilight, and it's got re-released in theaters, so we had to do it. As we mentioned, Harry Potter, not necessarily a fan of some of JK's philosophies right now. Same. But I love witches and wizards, and so sometimes, I just like, everybody likes this. It's a thing. The butterbeer sells really well. I'm just going to not think about some of the words that come out of her mouth.
Let me tell you, man.
We're gonna have fun.
I love Harry Potter, but I do love the LGBTQ community more.
Right? Exactly.
So Harry Potter is my favorite book. Like, I read all the books multiple times. I watched the movies. I'm going to do the Warner Bros. Studio next month in London for the first time. So I love it. But then J.K. Rowling be messing up, man.
Shut up. What was great is last week we had these two girls. They did drag Harry Potter, and they came in
that's cool.
As Dumbledore and Hagrid. And I'm like, yeah, if you're going to come here, just cross-dressing Harry Potter, let's go.
Yeah, that's our story, man. We own that story. That's not J.K. Rowling's story anymore. Shit. But Twilight, you're not Team Edward or Team Jacob or anything?
Let's go Team Charlie. I mean, that was the real choice the whole time. And as everyone grows up, they're like, yep, you're right. But Evil Dead, there's an Evil Dead area over there, and I do love Evil Dead. That's one of my favorite movies. So there's it's a little mix. We did the Conjuring booth, not because I'm like a huge Conjuring fan, but the new movie just came out in theaters this year.
Oh yeah.
And I think still probably playing in some theaters. It made tons of money this year. And I had to do it. So you've got The Nun over there, you got Annabelle, you've got references to all the different movies, you know, and I try to incorporate a lot of, like you said, what's popular at the time. You know, we did a Stranger Things area because the final season comes out next week. And
oh shoot, that's next week already.
It's next week.
My goodness.
And so it's like next weekend, I believe, is when it comes out. So I was like, okay, well, we got to do Stranger Things. We got to, you know, I've got the pinball machine. Let's do a whole nother area for it and celebrate that it's the final season's coming. So, you know, that's one of the things that separates our Halloween from our Christmas is with Christmas, we try to lean into a lot of the same sort of familiar, you know, everybody loves seeing National Lampoons. Everybody loves seeing Charlie Brown. Everybody loves seeing those, the Rankin and Bass Christmas. But we can expand upon those and make those better year after year. But with Halloween, everybody wants to see something new. Everybody wants to kind of be scared or spooked out or something. And we want to dial into what's popular at the time.
What does it look like for you when you're making the decision of what to put up? Like, are you in a room like with paper and pen? I mean, with paper and paper and pen, just writing down like
I use pens.
I don't know if you type or like, but like writing down. Okay, these are the things that I'm gonna do, or do you just kind of just go with the flow, kind of just because you have to buy things, right? So
yeah, and you can't just run to the Halloween store and get a lot of this stuff.
True.
You know, we plan this event. We sit down in March is when we really start thinking about it, because in March, that's when the national Halloween and Christmas trade shows start to happen. So all the people for the theme parks and the big national haunts and all that stuff, we all gather at these trade shows and we see kind of like what the trends are going to be, what we suspect they're going to be, what movies are going to be coming out, and kind of like what being manufactured and stuff like that. And also horror is really interesting because a lot of horror is just fears of the time. Like if you go back and watch horror movies from the 1950s, a lot of them were like nuclear monsters, you know, because everybody was afraid of the bomb, you know. And then like in the 80s, it was teenagers having sex and you're gonna get murdered, and it was because, you know, there was a lot of this teenage rebellion and young people had more freedom, you know, they had the phones and MTV generation. So you see horror kind of evolve as we evolve, and things that scare us. You know, it's like how the Purge movies came about. So we meet, we gather, we start planning in March. And then once we kind of figure out what areas we're going to do, that's when we start keeping our eyes out for things we need to purchase, things we need to build and craft our own selves. You know, we make a lot of these props in-house. I have a warehouse now because I have too much of this stuff. But then by the time August and September goes around, we've already got a plan and it's already rolled out. So we have a 4-day window to install all this. So basically when we close down that Sunday, we got 4 days to go, let's roll. And we have to get it all set up, get it all looking right, wired up, lit, ready to go. Showtime is Friday. And if we don't have a plan, so I've got books, I've got notebooks that I do love a good pen and paper because it's a lot.
You seem like a pen and paper kind of guy for some reason.
It's just I can sketch, I can doodle, you know, because I can't really doodle on a Google sheet, right? You know, so I'll have these notebooks and I'm like, I'll have an idea and I'll doodle this like horrible little stick person that only makes sense to me, and I like to keep this notebook year after year so I can flip back and go, oh, what did I do this year? What did I do that year? And what ideas did I have last year that I wasn't able to do? And, you know, because as technology advances, there's new like gizmos and lighting controllers and things that we can use that I can always improve.
Yeah, I feel like every time I come, obviously you've already mentioned that it's different every year, right? So there's always something new to look forward to. Or I really like the, what's the name of the vampire?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
did you watch the movie, by the way?
Of course, it was great.
It was. I don't know. I liked it, but it was also very slow, and like it's one of those movies that you have to probably watch with the lights off because it's so dark that you can barely see anything.
So did you not see it in the theater?
No, I saw it at home.
Okay, it's a theater movie, and because it's so atmospheric, like Robert Eggers is one of those directors that, you know, it's not about like, oh, I got so scared, or ooh, booga booga, jump scare. You know, he doesn't do any of that. It's like, I'm going to build an environment and I'm gonna put you in it for 2 hours.
That should stress me out. The movie stressed me out.
And that's the point. That is the absolute point.
I was just like, let this woman go. You know?
So yeah, I mean, we got Nosferatu over there, you know, because the movie had come out about a year ago, and I wanted to just do a little nod. I love Universal horror monsters. I love those classic, the Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Last year, the whole bar area was themed Creature from the Black Lagoon, and so every year I like to have at least one classic monster in there. So you got the vampire.
I love that old school TV that you have over here every year.
The CRT?
Yeah, like I always sit down there at least like 10 minutes and just watch movies that I wasn't alive to see whenever they came out.
And on a TV in the way that everybody watched them back then. So in our Evil Dead area, we've got Evil Dead 2 playing on our restored CRT. And it's a lot of people's favorite thing that we do every year. We've got, last year we did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, played the movie on the TV. This year, Evil Dead 2.
Love that one.
Playing the movie on the TV, and at Christmas we'll leave that setup there, and we'll play Christmas movies. On it as well. Yeah.
What do you like, Home Alone and stuff?
Yeah, Home Alone, Die Hard,
Gremlins,
Harry Potter Before Christmas.
You're Harry Potter over there. That's Christmas.
No,
movie, right?
I mean
Harry
it
Potter
can
1?
be. Everybody watches around Christmas, but we try to stick to very movies that happen at Christmas the whole time.
For those that don't know, because I've never watched it, but I've heard about Die Hard being a Christmas movie. Why is it a Christmas movie?
The whole soundtrack is Christmas music.
Okay.
It takes place at Christmas Eve at a Christmas party, and that's a lot of people go, that's not Christmas. He's flying across the country to visit his wife on Christmas Eve to go to her company party, and they get locked in the building during the Christmas party, and they're trying to escape. So I mean, it's a Christmas movie, and it's feel good. It's about love. It's about protecting your loved ones and finding the real meaning of the season.
I feel that. And this is a really basic question, but I really do want to know, like, what's your favorite Halloween movie?
Wow, you gonna do me like that? You gonna do me like that?
I thought it was gonna be very basic, but for you, I guess it would be kind of complicated, right? Because you probably have so many.
So many. Well, man, Halloween movies are different than horror movies, right? There are movies that I love to watch that are horror movies, and then there are movies that I love to watch around Halloween. There's one, I'll just say this one because it just got, it was a Fathom event. They released it in theaters a couple of weeks ago. I went and saw it, but it's Trick or Treat. And it's got the little kid, Sam. He's dressed kind of like a pumpkin guy. And it's like an anthology movie, if you're familiar with what that format is. It's like 3 or 4 short little stories that all intertwine, and it all takes place on Halloween night. Okay. And that is, it's all about the rules of Halloween. Never blow out a jack-o'-lantern. Always give kids candy. Always wear a costume. And if you don't, the spirits of Halloween are going to come get you. Oh. And so, I mean, it's a great movie that just really encapsulates Halloween. I think The Halloween Tree is another really great one that's not available anywhere on streaming. It's a Ray Bradbury story turned into a cartoon, and he narrates it himself, which is really cool. And then another great Halloween movie would be Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, because that, again, takes place on Halloween. It has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Does it have the song in it? The Season of the Witch? No, it doesn't have it? Okay.
It has a song that goes, Happy Halloween, Silver Shower. And it's about this company that makes these masks. And the kids put on the masks, and when the commercial comes on the TV, like their heads melt. Like it's such a strange movie, but it's got a fascinating history too. So I advise people to take a look into it, because it was the 3rd installment of the Halloween franchise, which was Michael Myers. And so 1 and 2 came out, and they were basically one long movie. They the timeline. Part 2 picks up right where Part 1 leaves off. They're great to watch back to back. But then Halloween 2 ends, and everybody's like, we need another one. It was so great. So John Carpenter was like, okay, well, my original plan for the Halloween franchise is I want all these horror stories to happen just on Halloween night. It's stories about stuff. It's like an anthology movie, but spread out into individual movies. And they do Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. There's no Michael Myers. Everyone's like, what the heck? And we're like, we want Michael Myers. We want the guy in the mask. That's what we came here for. This movie's so stupid. Yucky. And what's crazy is, as we have, generations have come and gone, and new generations are putting eyes on this movie, there's become this new respect for this movie. Is like going, this movie's really good. Okay. When you take it out of its context of being the 3rd in a franchise, it'd be like, making Star Wars, like the Boba Fett movie, and there's or the Mandalorian, and there's no Grogu. They're like, that's what we want to see. We want to see the little baby Yoda. And then people revolt. But this was like, it's not about that. So when you can separate yourself from that character and go, let's look at this movie as a Halloween movie, it's awesome.
Hey, I really like, this is not a Halloween movie, but I think it's one of those movies that either you like it, you hate it, or you ignore it. The Killer Clowns of Outer Space.
Oh, Killer Clowns is fantastic.
I watched it like 2 years ago, and I watched it when I was a kid. I didn't really click with it.
It's so stupid.
But I watched it 2 years ago, and I was like, this shit's funny.
It's so great. And like the big cotton candy, like cocoons, and it's so ridiculous. And it also had a resurgence in the past few years. And there's like, you know, more merchandise. Spirit Halloween had a whole like section now of Killer Clowns. And, you know, clowns are an interesting thing. We did a clown area at Nightmare on Block Street last year.
Yeah.
And clowns are one of those things that come back and around. Like they never ever disappear from, you know, sort of the pantheon of horror, but they fall out of favor for a couple of years. And
remember those years whenever they were like being cited, supposedly like kidnapping people and all these different things?
Because people are like, don't dress as a clown and go out to trick or treat because there's real people.
You would see those videos, right, of just random clowns in like the most random places. Like, what was going on during that time?
People knowing how to freak people out. And then Terrifier came out and then made it all popular again. So everybody wants to be clowns again. Now Killer Clowns is getting popular. Art the Clown from Terrifier is popular. You know, it's weird how these trends come and go.
What was interesting was during that time, whenever those clown sightings were happening a few years back, I had like 2 friends that are clowns and Latino clowns, and they were kind of like, we're losing work. Like, people are not wanting to hire clowns right now because there's this like fear of clowns because of everything going on. And I empathized. I was like, damn, people are missing out on work because of these folks.
These silly clowns. But, you know, it's interesting how those things come into phase. Like, you know, the goth scene is another really good example. Like, you know, I remember when I was like a teenager in high school, like being goth was not cool, you know, and I'm like, dang it. You know, I don't want to get wedgies. I don't want to be a nerd. And now like goth is in, like, you know, it's such a cool thing to and everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, goth chicks are hot, and like all this goth is cool, and look at the aesthetic. And I don't know, do you follow Goth Teal on Instagram?
No.
He's awesome. There's a huge, like, in I want to say outside of LA and maybe the Inland Empire area, there's a huge Latina goth scene. And I'm jealous because they look like they throw the coolest parties. But it's cool how, like, goth was something that was like popular in the 80s, was not cool in the 90s, and then has now started to come back and get cool again. And you see these spooky trends. They come and they go, and then they, you know, they get cool again, and then they disappear.
Yeah, I think. Have you ever seen that video of like the goth kids dancing by the bridge? That's like super viral. I love that video because they'll put any song on it, and it flows with it. You know,
it's so good.
It flows with their dance movements. What is a horror villain or killer, whatever, that scared you the most as a kid?
Ooh, that's also a tough one because, you know, the horror movies that scared me the most as a kid, you know, I actually kind of liked the big boogeyman, like the big creature effects, like Freddy, Jason, you know, Michael Myers, like Pumpkinhead. Like, I always thought those guys looked really, really cool, and I was kind of fascinated because I grew up a fan of the Universal monsters, so like they were kind of the things you wanted to see. They were the heroes, really, even though they weren't, you know, Wolfman and Frankenstein and all that stuff. But the things that scared me the most as a kid were like the supernatural stuff, like Exorcist and Amityville Horror and Paranormal Activity and Rosemary's Baby, and like the fear of this unknown force, you know, and you know, sort of biblical horror to me has always been really creepy because, like, a lot of people believe in that stuff. And
there's reported cases of a lot of these.
Yeah.
Like Exorcist specifically, right?
Exactly. And it's like a lot of the stuff is rooted in things that have happened and are happening. And
have you seen those videos of when like The Exorcist came out where like the priest is there like blessing people afterwards and people are terrified after the movie?
Ridiculous. But, you know, but that stuff freaked me out so hard as a kid because, you know, I mean, I grew up in a very God-fearing home, and in Southern Baptist, no less. Oh. And yeah, you know, you see demonic possession, and you're like, well, you know, there are priests in the world, and there are, you know, devils in the Bible, and maybe this is real, and oh man, and then like a rocking chair just moving by itself. I'm out. I'm gone.
You ever have any folks of like in your past life when you were younger in that circle, in that Baptist circle, ever come in here?
Oh man, no, that was in Alabama. You know, who knows? I mean, my grandma has seen Nightmare on Block Street once. It was a long time ago. She's a little too old to travel now, but she still lives in Alabama. You know, and what we try to do is like, you know, we try to keep things. I don't want to say not offensive. Like, I don't want to offend anybody. Like, I don't think horror is supposed to be offensive. I think it's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be something that everyone can enjoy. And even though half of our bar is decked out as hell, you know,
there was a Ouija board here somewhere. I forgot where it was.
Oh, it's back here. It's in the Stranger Things area. But that's like kind of a reference to the movie because they use the things to contact in season 1. But you know, I try not to do anything that's just overtly offensive to people. And
what do you think that would be an overly offensive
just
thing?
like a whole bunch of upside down crosses, or you know, like I'm not like, and we're not saying like hail Satan or anything like that. You know, it's just like you know, little red devils and flames and hands, and you know, I mean, it's like the devil's in the Bible anyway. So you know,
ever get any negative feedback because of this? Like, do you or any? You haven't had any controversy or anything of?
No, everybody comes in and kind of digs it. Everybody's been very, very happy about everything that we've ever done and loves to see what we do. Now, I will say at Christmas, we have gotten a few negative bits of feedback, and that's actually tamed out over the years because we were one of the OG like Krampus supporters.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love is like you know,
being a Krampus supporter is crazy though.
No,
they're scary, man. Have you seen the videos from Germany when
I know
they hit you and stuff when you're like you go to the festivals?
They don't hit you. They like have sticks and they swat the ground. But you know, I'm fascinated with like historical, cultural, like foodways and like holiday celebrations that are different than here in the United States because I think a lot of Americans have blinders to a lot of like different cultures outside of the United States and what they celebrate and what that means to them. And, you know, Krampus is not about like, they're not over there. I've had ladies going, they're worshiping the devil. And I was like, actually, if you go back and you look at this tradition, Krampus worked alongside Saint Nick to be like, you know, because back then they knew that scaring kids into being good was a lot better than enticing them into being good. No. And they're like, hey, if you be good, then Saint Nicholas is going to come give you treats. But if you're bad, then Krampus is going to come put you in a basket and take you away. And so Krampus and Saint Nicholas actually work together. And, you know, it's not like this like, oh, we're anti-Christmas, da-da-da. We didn't do any of that stuff. But we're celebrating and drawing light to something that's kind of fun and a little bit different. You know, there's an Italian witch and I forget her name, but it's like, I don't want to misquote myself, but she's a Christmas witch, and she's again a bad guy, but she's scary looking, and it's just a thing they do in Italy. And you know, every culture has these traditions that predate the Coca-Cola Santa that we all know. Like what a lot of people don't realize about Christmas in the United States is the Santa Claus that we know was invented by the Coca-Cola Company. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was invented by, I think it was like Woolworths or some other like department store. Like these aren't.
I mean, he's very American looking, so that makes sense.
Right. I mean,
even though Coca-Cola is Mexican, but yeah.
If you think about it, like it's the most American thing ever for us to worship, like, you know, corporate sponsored mascots as our like religious institutions. You're like, oh yeah, that's Santa Claus. You know, I'm a Christian person, and it's like, well,
or white Jesus too.
It's white, exactly. So you think like, you know, a lot of people don't do enough historical digging, and so for our Christmas, people have been like, wait a minute, Krampus, Nightmare Before Christmas, Gremlins. This is all scary, spooky stuff. This is anti-Christmas. And I'm like, no, this is a full celebration of more Christmas than you are able to comprehend.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Boom. Gon' get.
So what do you like? Do you put like a statue of Krampus out here?
We have a full 9-foot Krampus.
Okay. I haven't came during Christmas yet, so I need to check that out.
Oh man. I'm actually trying, you know, so I'm trying to gather. And if you're listening to this podcast and you want to help, you want to put together a Krampus outfit, I'm trying to do a pinpoint float in the December 4th Fayetteville Christmas parade, and I want it to be all Krampus. And of course, I'm going to be the big Krampus, but if we have other Krampai, I guess, I don't know if that's plural for Krampus, but we're going to have like fire, and we're going to have like just fun and spooky stuff in the Christmas parade, and they can't stop us. And if you wanna come join us in that, just slide into the Pinpoint DMs.
Okie dokie, there you go, and a good opportunity for folks that want to be part of the parade. So this is my annual Pinpoint advertisement to remind people to come to Pinpoint, not just on Halloween and not just on Christmas.
Not just on the holidays. We are
Y'all
here
are open all year round.
all year round, and we do about 54% of our annual revenue during the holiday season. So the holiday season is September 26th through January 1st, and about 3 months. And one of the craziest parts is that a lot of people that come don't realize that we're here all year round. They go, "Oh, it's the Halloween bar. Oh, it's the Christmas bar." And it's like, no, but we're also here 365 days a year.
Like you pop up on Christmas and you pop up on Halloween, but you're always here.
Yeah,
like
and
it's
I
just
think
a theme,
right? And pop-ups. A lot of people have been doing pop-ups. Everything's a pop-up now. Like it's nuts. I think we've kind of forgotten what that word means. And when we say pop-up, it's not like a whole nother brand. It's Nightmare on Block Street is a little mini brand that we have created. And you come in during normal Pinpoint hours and you want the Pinpoint Old Fashioned or some of the other stuff that we provide during our pop-up. You can't get those things. Right now we are Nightmare on Block Street. And so when we say it's a Halloween pop-up, it's very different from our normal day-to-day business, but it's still our business, right? So, they think that this is only a thing that happens 2-3 months out of the year. But when January hits, man, please come out because it's the slowest time of year. And we make arguably better drinks when it's not the holiday season because we have more time behind the bar to craft for you. So when we have our Halloween and our Christmas, we might serve, like last Saturday, we served 1,500 cocktails that night. And when we're only going to be all 1,500 of those cocktails happen between the hours of like 8 o'clock and 1 a.m. So we're doing, our bartenders are making 2.3 drinks a minute, and we can't sit there and spend a whole lot of time. So we have to, as we speak, if you look over there, what time is it? You got here at 11 a.m. 11:40, yeah. And we've got bar teams sitting there prepping and making juice and syrups. And so doing all these things that we need to do to where we can serve you the fastest. But outside of that season, we can slow it down and we can pay a lot more attention to these flavors and these cocktails that we craft for you. So I tell people, it's like, please come see us because you'll probably get an even better experience because we're able to pay more attention to the guest and really relay those principles of hospitality that we love. The environment that we create for the holidays, that's our love and hospitality that we show, but we can't always give you that one-on-one like human experience because there's just too many humans to give. But the rest of the year, that's what we love to do.
You're a regular on local TV here preparing drinks and doing some other stuff. What would you say is some of like the specialty drinks that Pinpoint offers year round besides, not Halloween, not Christmas, just regular days?
We change our menu seasonally. So, we change our menu about 6 times a year.
Okay.
And, we want, in the winter, we do winter flavors. In the spring, we do spring flavors, and Halloween, we do Halloween flavors. But, we've got some Pinpoint classics like the Red Rabbit, which is a mezcal strawberry cocktail. It's really, really delicious. Our Pinpoint Old Fashioned, which features our barrel pick, whatever barrel pick that we're on that year, we'll craft an old fashioned based around those things. That we travel out and we pick single barrels from some of our partnering distilleries in Kentucky and beyond. And, we have one of the largest gin selections of any bar in Arkansas. Okay. We love a good gin cocktail. So, and we love to take our time with our guests. And, if you have any questions, we love to talk to you about spirits, but just not during the holidays when we're getting slammed. Yeah. So, we love to give people this third space that isn't always about drinking either. We have these big, wonderful, comfy booths. We're one of the only bars in town where you can bring a group of 6 and have an easy place to sit where you can all sit and talk and not have to yell and shout. We have the pinball machines. There's a great community around those where people.
Do you switch those?
Yes, we have 78 in our collection, so we rotate them. As you see right now for Halloween, they're all horror movie pinball machines.
I thought I was tripping when I came here. Was it like 2 weeks ago? I saw that it was all Halloween themed. Yeah. I'm like, does he have these year round or did he switch them?
Nah, dude, you ain't tripping. I switch them. I have one of the biggest publicly available Halloween pinball collections.
Because you have like Elvira, Stranger Things. You had is it
Dracula, Frankenstein, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, they don't have a Friday the 13th pinball that exists yet. I have Evil Dead. I've got Monster Bash, Addams Family, Phantom of the Opera. I mean, it's the whole lineup is Halloween.
And very affordable too for you to play.
Yeah, I mean, most of the games are 50 cents. Some of the brand new ones are $1. Generally, the rule of thumb is if a game costs me more than $10,000, it's $1 to play. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, because it's got to pay for itself somehow. But yeah, we changed those games out. And one of the things I think it's important that I want all our guests to know is you're like, oh, well, I'm not a big drinker. Or, oh, I don't like to go out and party. That's not what Pinpoint's about. Pinpoint is about creating a third space for you and your friends to come that's not going to work and then going home, right? It's a place where you can gather. It's a place where you can bring your friends or make new ones. You don't have to drink to be here. Granted, because of our Arkansas liquor license, you have to be 21 to get here, so it's an adult place. But we have non-alcoholic drinks. I was
going to ask if you had that.
Yeah, we were one of the first bars to do the non-alcoholic cocktails. We've been doing them for years. And in January, we do an entire menu that's just non-alcoholic cocktails. Like that, we don't even do fresh house regular cocktails. It's all non-alcoholic. And we were one of the first bars to do that. And it's just, I really want people to encourage to have these third places to go that they can feel safe, feel seen, get a break from work, not have to just go straight home and box in away from the world, because, third spaces are kind of important and they're under attack right now, because rents are higher than they've ever been. Insurance is higher than it's ever been. Cost of goods is higher than it's ever been. And so these places need community support. And also when you just go straight home and you box yourself into your little home that our pods that we've carved out after COVID, we've gotten really used to not going out and being social, not going out to where there's a bunch of strangers, and just going, oh, well, I'm just going to hang out at the house. I'm going to DoorDash this. I'm going to have, my groceries delivered. I've got, Apple, Paramount, MGM plus AMC plus minus whatever. I'm just going to sit here and not leave my pod until it's time to go to work. But third spaces have always been a historically important part of the public house, is what it used to be called back in the olden days, of a place of gathering and community building. And it, unfortunately, being in a university town, a lot of people associate bars as just being this place you went and abused alcohol as a youth, but really it's a place for gathering. And I really, really, really want Pinpoint to be known as that first, great cocktails second, pinball third.
That makes sense. I think when you talk about community, I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, but I've seen it, because I didn't really start going to bars until like 2 or 3 years ago, to be honest. And whenever I would go, I would see the same people there, and I'd be like, oh, sometimes I take for granted that I know a lot of people and that I have a lot of friends and that I can just hang out with and stuff. But like, not everybody has that. Sometimes people need to be accompanied, even if it's like talking to a bartender, right? Or talking to the regulars at a bar.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I think you're really hitting the nail on the head is, you can, by going to a bar and being a regular at a bar, you can develop a community. And a lot of people think like, oh, it's just a bunch of drunks. It's not. It depends on the bar you go to, obviously. But, you can come and you can make friends with the bartender. And then all of a sudden you're making friends with the other people that you see here all the time. And then all of a sudden you've got a bunch of friends. And you're going out to dinners. I see people, we have the Nerdy Girls NWA book club that meets here every other Tuesday. Okay. And a lot of them don't even drink. But we have that big, wonderful round table booth. And they love coming here. And this is their meeting place. And I don't charge them. It's not like they have to rent a thing. They just come here and they hang out. And that's what a good bar is supposed to be. And then the more that they're here, I mean, we know them by name. One of them is bringing us pizza tomorrow because they know we're going to be busy. And, that's a friendship that was forged by just showing up at this place and going, hey, I recognize you. What was your name? Oh, yeah, I know what you like. Oh, I've seen you here playing pinball all the time. Who are you? What's your deal? And then all of a sudden you've got this network of people that's bigger than your little friends group or the group of people that you hang out with at work. So third spaces, like, don't sleep on them, man. And don't think that just because we're in a college town, like, oh, I'm too old for that. No one is too old for community.
Yeah, that makes sense. I live in Springdale, so my bar that I go to when I go is like the Odd Soul.
Oh, the Odd Soul's great.
Like, love Jeffro, Boston.
Shout outs to their pizza
Kaya,
too.
Everybody over there, and I've built a relationship with them. So every time like we think about like having some sort of fundraiser in Springdale, we're like, oh, let's see if the Odd Soul is down for it. And usually they're down. So I've realized the importance of community even in a bar. So I'm glad that we touched on that. So you have one more day left. Well, two more days.
We
left.
actually run this through Sunday,
Oh.
so we'll be here Halloween, and we'll be here day after Halloween because it's a Saturday. I'm being an idiot to close my bar on a Saturday, and then and then November 2nd's Day of the Dead, man.
That's
Dios
true.
Muertos.
That's
we gotta celebrate. So
I didn't forget, but
come
I forgot.
on, what podcast is this again?
Not the first bilingual podcast in the history of Arkansas. So then after Sunday, like, do you clean up the next day, or do you just chill first?
We begin. No, we begin, and there's
you chill afterwards.
there is no downtime for us. The bar will be closed, but we will not be. We will be pedal to the metal because we have to get all of this taken down, packed away properly. We do a big deep clean because the bar has just been put through the ringer, and then we start the installation of Christmas. And then when we reopen, which will be November 14th, which is a Friday, this will be Christmas at Pinpoint. So we'll be all decked out. So we have a very narrow 10-day window to pull all this stuff down, pack it away, deep clean, get Christmas installed, tuned up, and then a new menu created and trained on, and then boom, we're open.
Okay.
And you think 10 days is a long time. It ain't.
It ain't. No, I mean, for the cleaning, the decorating, and then like little technical difficulties happen, right?
Always. And then we gotta take out 15 500-pound pinball machines and replace them with 15 500-pound pinball machines that are different.
Goodness. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. So,
yeah, it's a lot.
It's a miracle y'all get all that done.
I know. I have
that amount of time.
I have the best bar team in the country. Like I am. Shout outs to my team. They are unbelievable. The hours that they put in, the costumes that they continue to come up with and wear and have fun, and the patience that they have with all the guests that we have, that, like, we call them the tourists that only come during Halloween and Christmas, that just don't really treat the place with respect and don't treat us with respect.
I remember you saying that someone was twerking on one of the
broke him in half. Yeah. But you know it takes to be a person in a bar that gets as crowded as ours, especially when everybody's coming in costume and wanting to act like a ghoul or a gremlin. It takes a lot of patience. And I gotta shout out to my bar team because they have so much grace and they have so much talent and so much patience to put up with some of the most insane situations you've ever heard of. Like, having someone just go and just spill drinks everywhere and stand right in the middle of the puddle while you're trying to clean it and act like you're the problem. And then you're just like, oh, sorry, and then you got to get back to being friendly again. Like, it is so hard. And I love them to death. They're the best.
Are y'all the only bar here in Northwest Arkansas that does the medicine bags?
Well, we were the first. And
shots fired.
Shots fired. We've been doing it for many, many years.
Yeah.
And because
you don't gotta name the bars, I just didn't know if y'all were like the only ones that were doing it.
Well, we're the only ones that are doing it. There's one bar that actually a former employee of mine, he's the bar manager at. They did it was in Bentonville, and they did I'm just gonna shout out. It's a butterscotch bar. They do great stuff over there too. But they were doing the Bentonville like Halloween bar crawl last week, and they did a blood bag cocktail. And I was like, I wonder where he got that idea.
Hey, I mean, y'all have made it popular. Every time I see it on Instagram, it's here.
Yeah, well, it's crazy because
I got one for the first time, by the way. It was really good. 2 weeks ago.
Cheers. Yeah, back when I was doing it, the first couple of years I was doing it, you couldn't just go buy them on Amazon. I had to get these things made and shipped over from China, and it's now you see them. You can get them at Spirit Halloween now.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see how a lot of the things that we've been doing, years and years ago, are now starting to get like popular.
People have them at
everywhere.
parties too. Like they'll order like 30 bags and then just fill them up with whatever liquor they want to.
I love to see it.
That's so cool. What are you dressing up as this year? What have you dressed up as this year?
Oh, well, yeah. Because
what have you dressed up?
We've dressed up every Friday and Saturday night. We do a group costume here at the bar. This weekend's a little bit different because it's Halloween. We're going to do anything goes. But we all dressed up as Shrek characters one day. We did Wizard of Oz. We did Alice in Wonderland. We did Marvel superheroes. We did DC characters. We've done one day we did all vampires. One day we did all like doctors and nurses. And then we really love to have fun with it. And a good group costume is a heck of a lot of fun because we did Scooby-Doo last weekend.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was fun. Everybody got to pick a favorite character or a
Were
monster.
you Velma?
No, I was not Velma.
Oh,
I was like the Vincent Price from 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, which is an offshoot. Nobody knew what I was, which I'm used to that at this point. But this weekend's gonna be fun, where everybody's gonna get to kind of express themselves and do what they want to do. But having a bar costume's hard because I love a good elaborate costume, but it has to be functional behind a bar. I have to still be able to work and not like catch my coats or whatever on all the bottles and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's so cool. The fact that y'all do that as a team, it must be fun. You're also very involved in the community.
Yeah.
You've been very active for years, very vocal also through content creation, through video, through podcasting. I saw a few months back that you were talking about a lot of the housing issues happening here in Fayetteville specifically, which are also very spooky.
Spooky housing crisis. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? What exactly were you talking about in those live videos you were doing on social media?
Yeah. So, being a purveyor of a third space for community, like you said, community is extremely important to me. And showing up, going to city council, going to town hall meetings, going to, I'm on the board for the Downtown Fayetteville Coalition. I sit on that board and represent hospitality. And, it's just being a member of the community is different than being a participant of the community. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think more and more people have gotten to this point where they feel like their voice isn't important and that their voice, even if they say something, it's not going to be heard. And one of the things that I really love to try and educate people on is that, like, the fallacy of that thinking is we have created a world with social media to where we think that our voice is being heard. It's easier than ever to put our voice out into the world, right? But it is harder than ever to have people listen to that voice. Just like we're recording a podcast now. I mean, I remember 15 years ago when I started podcasting, no one even knew what a podcast was.
Yeah.
Now every day a new, like, me and my best friend are going to tell you about craft beer. Like, it's like that's every day there's podcasts that are coming out. And so it's getting harder and harder and harder to get your voice heard through that medium. And what I tell people is, like, being angry online, posting, things on Threads or X or TikTok or whatever, that's cool. But it's also not authentic, and it's not a way that policymakers and leaders are going to really listen, because they're not out there scrubbing through the comments, especially when the comments are full of trolls and bots. And I mean, let's not get on the conspiracy theory of the dead internet theory. Like, they were saying that just recently, 40% of all the outrage for the Cracker Barrel thing was bots. Oh. And, what kind of freaking world do we live in? We can't trust a lot of the things that we see online. And for those of us that grew up at the birth of the internet and saw how it evolved, we all know, like, don't trust anything you see on the internet, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Do extra research. Your grandma posting something, she doesn't know.
Some AI video that she thinks is true.
She doesn't know. And honestly, younger people that grew up with the internet being, high-speed internet being in your life since birth, it's also getting harder for those people. And the people that are being born into a world of AI and not knowing the difference, I think it's going to be challenging for them. So what I'm getting at is showing up in person, going to city council meetings, looking at these agendas, going to the website, downloading the documents. This is stuff that I like to do, and then package it for people to make it a little bit more digestible so that they can find ways to make their voice heard. And so with the housing issues, we are seeing this huge, and it's not just in Fayetteville, it's nationwide, humongous corporations are scooping up all of the housing. The BlackRocks and the Vanguard groups of the world, they're out there and they're scooping it all up. And, with the battle cry of quote unquote market value, and it's like the market value is only set by the person that controls the market. And when rents are going up higher and higher and higher, especially with the advent of Airbnb, it's like, oh, well, I don't have a tenant. No one's going to pay $1,800 a month for my one-bedroom apartment. Well, that's okay, because it's game weekend and I'm going to rent out my apartment for $900 a night to some doctor or lawyer who's going to come stay in it. So now I'm making my money. I don't have to rent it out to some lower income, person that I don't want my, there's a hidden socioeconomic racism that's happening with people that don't want low income families in their housing. And that's wrong. And a lot of developers and a lot of real estate people, they have this mindset of like, if we just build more stock, then supply and demand kicks in. If there's more supply, less demand, price goes low. But the problem with that line of thinking is, you know, you don't just build a bunch of Rolex watches and expect Rolex watches to get cheaper, because it's a luxury good.
Yeah.
And when you're building luxury condos for students or luxury houses for vacationers, you can build as many of those as you want. But even if they go down in price by 20%, it's still a luxury good that families, that the median single income median income in Northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville specifically, $37,000 a year. No matter, you could discount that yacht all day long and you're still not going to be able to afford a yacht. And so that's one of the things that we really need to find ways to champion through zoning, through approvals and denials of things at the Planning Commission and the City Council, of how do we say yes to the projects that are going to help the families and the communities that we need, that need the help, that don't need a third or fourth like rental investment property. Get effed. You know what I'm saying? But what we need is projects and incentives that encourage developers to build these things that can still be profitable. Like, that's the key. We can't just expect developers to build things that they're going to take a loss on because it's going to be the right thing. If anything that being a business owner and being a grown up and being a person that pays attention has taught me, is the unfortunate reality that no one's ever going to do something just because it's the right thing to do, especially companies. And, you know, they got to turn a profit. But if we can use incentivization, we can use zoning, we can use different programs to make it a profitable option for them to build, you know, lower income housing or affordable, obtainable housing, then I think we're going to solve more problems. And the student purpose-built student housing is a non-adaptive housing that takes existing housing off the market, which is one of the battles I fought because my apartment was on the chopping block. And it takes it off the market and replaces it with something that doesn't help the market. So it's a very long, nuanced project that could be a whole podcast in itself. You see the tone just changed and got really scary.
Got darker.
But you know, that's the interesting duality of my life, is like, yeah, I'm Mr. Party Happy Fun Guy, make cocktails on TV. I'm gonna build a giant like Jason Voorhees statue and give you a blood bag cocktail. But I'm also gonna champion for my community to have affordable housing, and for families that work in hospitality or don't have white collar jobs. And if you're a white collar guy that's rolling your eyes right now, that like sits at a desk and you know, works remote and clicks on spreadsheets, dude, AI is coming for your job too. So it's going to be really interesting when a lot of these people that have had it really easy are also sitting on the side of the table with the people that have had it hard and going, oh shoot, it really is hard. Where are all those affordable housings for me now that I got laid off? I mean, how many jobs? Amazon's laying off, 30,000 people out of middle management. Walmart just got done with a lot of middle management layoffs. And it was because of AI. They're not even hiding it anymore. And so when do those people become allies too and say, hey, maybe we're not all that different. And maybe we all have the same struggles. And maybe just because I'm not struggling right now doesn't mean that I can't help you because you are struggling. It's the whole pizza thing. You know, you've heard the pizza analogy, right?
Maybe you want to explain.
There's two different kinds of people in this world.
Yeah.
People that take 3 slices of pizza, or people that take 1 slice of pizza, both for the same reason, because they were afraid it was going to run out. Right? So the kind of people that take 3 slices are like, I was afraid it was going to run out, so I wanted 3 more slices for me. And there's the people that are like, oh, I'm going to only take 1 slice because there's not enough for everybody else.
I'm the 1 slice person.
We're 1 slice people.
Yeah,
High five.
just not pineapple.
You're like, yeah, you can have that. I'll
If
starve.
it's pineapple, I'll starve. Yeah.
I'll starve. But yeah, it's you know, it's a very nuanced issue, and I encourage people. We have the tools to connect each other more than we ever have. Let's use them. You know, especially with stuff that's going on right now in our communities where people are being targeted and sought out and disappeared. You know, we all need to use these tools and to use our community, to use our third spaces as hubs of deeper connection than just commenting online. So yeah, that's my That's my stamp on it.
I'm one of those people that wants them to do everything. Like I want them to show up to the city council meetings. I want you to post on social media, but don't just do one.
Just don't do one.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of people. Obviously, it gets overwhelming sometimes, right? Because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Where different communities are under attack. So just try to do something. Don't just chill and do nothing. That's all I ask.
And every tiny little bit helps, man. And that's what I think people don't understand is when they say it doesn't matter. It does, especially when you show up. And the in-person show up is so powerful. And as long as you're in the right place, like it's unbelievable. Like I almost single-handedly stopped $1 billion developer from building a building, like some Chicago developer coming in, and everybody told me, "Oh, they're just so rich and powerful. You can't stop them. They've got all this money." And I'm like, "Hold my beer," you know. And I did it. And I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude that shakes cocktails, right? Yeah. And you know, that's the power of just a dude, you know. And if everybody can do that, then there's more of us. You know, we just have to know how to use our strength.
Definitely. That's a good message to end this podcast on.
Boom.
For people to activate and get involved in your community and come support Pinpoint, not only just on Halloween, but also
all the time.
Christmas, during the whole year. Get a mocktail as well.
Because whether you know it, Pinpoint is supporting you.
Yes, we need one of those little Uncle Sam posters. Pinpoint. Do you have one of those?
No.
We need one of those next time.
No, but Pinpoint supports you. So whether you know it or not, we're out here fighting for you.
Hey, pull up. So if you haven't yet, make sure you make your stops at Pinpoint. This episode's coming out on Halloween, so you have time. If you're listening today on Halloween, you can come over here tonight. You can come over here the next day, and you can come on Sunday. And then it'll be closed for a few days, and then you can come and visit on Halloween. I mean, on Christmas as well.
That's right.
Or the few days leading to Christmas. Bo, thank you for making the time, as always, every year for us to have our annual check-in. I look forward to next year as well, and look forward to seeing everything that you do here and for the community as well. Thank you for all you do, brother. I appreciate it. And for everybody listening, that was the end of episode 316 of the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin. He was Bo, joining us this episode. Catch you all next week. Thank you all for tuning in.